Hello, students, and welcome to our virtual college fair. You can ask questions to the presenters at any time using the Q&A button. Just a heads up, your camera and microphone are turned off, so we cannot see or hear you. Sign up for more sessions. There are a couple more available, and a recording of this session will be available in about a week on the same page that you registered. So now I will turn it over to our presenters, and first up, we have Catawba College.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm glad you were able to make it. My name is Katie Connor, and I'm an admissions counselor at Catawba College, and I'm going to spend the next 6 minutes or so telling you a bit about us and how you can apply. So we are, make sure, there we go. We are a private liberal arts college of about 1,300 undergraduate students. We actually did start a few graduate programs recently. They are very small and mainly evening and online. So you can kind of think of us exclusively as an undergraduate institution if that's something you're thinking about. About 84% of first-year students live on campus and 70% of students overall are residential. So a very tight-knit residential family community on our campus. And we have students from 33 states and 19 countries. So if you're looking for a place to spend 4 years and have students from different backgrounds, different, thoughts and ideas, races and ethnicities, I think that's definitely something you'll find at Catawba. We're proud to have a student body and 38% of which identify from underrepresented racial and ethnic backgrounds. We also are proud to serve a large percentage of first generation students. To tell you a bit about where we are in North Carolina, I know a lot of you are tuning in. You may not be familiar with the area. We are in a town called Salisbury, North Carolina, a small town of about 35,000 people, known for historic preservation and arts and culture. So a lot of theater venues. We actually have a professional symphony orchestra here in town. We're also 40 minutes from uptown Charlotte, 40 minutes from Winston-Salem, and 50 minutes from Greensboro, North Carolina. So I always like to tell students you have the best of both worlds. You have a lot going on campus, a lot to do, surprisingly, in Salisbury, despite the small town, and then access to 3 really big metropolitan areas in the state, if that's something that you're interested in having access to when you're in college. So let me tell you a bit about our academic programs. We structure ourselves within our 5 different schools. So our School of Arts and Sciences is any type of traditional liberal arts major I think you can be looking for: English, biology, chemistry, psychology, etc. We also, what's very unique for Catawba is we have a 189-acre ecological preserve right on our campus. So we have a very large environmental and sustainability program attached to that preserve and research that attracts students from all over the country. Our Kettner School of Business has several business programs for anything from finance to business administration, sports marketing, etc. Our School of Education offers K through 12 licensure and all of the core subjects, along with theater ed, music ed, special ed, and physical ed. Our School of Health Science and Human Performance offers programs in nursing, recreation therapy, and exercise science. And our School of Performing Arts has a few awesome programs I'll actually go into on the next slide. Just some numbers to highlight. Our average class size is 13 at Catawba, so it's not a place you can hide. It's either something you're going to love or you're going to hate. No lecture halls or classes that you can kind of zone out during. Professors hold you to high expectations here. We also have over 70 programs, which is pretty insane, for a school of our size. So if you want to come in undecided, that's completely okay, because chances are you'll either find something here that fits you perfectly, or we make it really easy to create an individualized major that's interdisciplinary throughout all of these schools. We don't have teaching assistants, and what that means is that all your classes are going to be taught by professors who have the highest degrees in their fields. Now, I know some of you may be tuning in from some performing arts schools, so I did just want to include some extra info on our performing arts programs. Catawba traditionally ranks in the top 20 top college theater programs in the country. We offer 5-degree options with BA, BFAs, and a BS in theater arts administration. And then transitioning to our music programs, we have 6 really awesome and unique degrees. Our most notable and unique being our popular music program, which is one of about a dozen in the country that is geared towards students who want to make it in popular music. And that can be as performers, producers, song engineers, agents, etc. So I wanted to include that in case that's something you're thinking about. I'm happy to answer questions about these programs. And I also think it's noteworthy because Catawba has a very strong performing arts community and support structures in place. So that second photo you see of ADP, that's a fully student-run concert every Friday night on our campus. And it's 100% packed and sold out. And if you're not there an hour early, you're not getting a seat. So I think it paints a picture of what it's like to be on campus and have a commitment to performing arts. A couple of these numbers I'll highlight quickly. I'm running out of time. Catawba has a commitment to funding 100% of students to complete and present on academic research. So students are definitely taking advantage of those opportunities that we will pay for you to go present that research at a conference or symposium. We also have internships and practicums strongly embedded and often required in our programs, and I'm happy to answer questions on those. A little bit about financial aid. 100% of students will receive a merit scholarship between 10 or 20,000 when you apply. And these are a couple of our bigger full tuition scholarship opportunities. Feel free to take a screenshot. I'm out of time, but I'm happy to answer questions about any of these during the chat. Thanks, guys.
Great, thank you so much. And up next, we have Davidson College.
Hi there. Let me grab a screen to share. I will go ahead and admit to you, I am not a slide person, so you're going to get kind of sheer force of me on your screen. My name is Courtney Campbell. I'm Senior Associate Dean of Admission and Financial Aid at Davidson College. That is in Davidson, North Carolina, quintessential small college suburban town, 20 minutes north of Charlotte, which is the largest city in the state, second largest banking and finance center in the country, and one of the fastest growing cities in the country. So it's a really nice scenario of best of both worlds. Similar to Catawba, we are a liberal arts institution focusing on undergraduate institutions, so no graduate programs at Davidson. That means the full force of our resources are focused on your 4 years as an undergraduate. It also means that all of our courses are taught by faculty members, no graduate assistants, no TAs, and they too have the highest terminal degrees in their field. Our courses are discussion driven because of their small size. You are expected to be an active and engaged partner from day one of your education as a Davidson student. We teach through experiential learning in addition to that strong classroom experience. So I want you to think about research, both in STEM and the humanities. We offer funding for student-led collaborative research so that many of our students will graduate having been published in an academic journal, having presented at a national or an international conference. Internships is a big part of, or internships are a big part of what we do at Davidson. And we offer funding through our Center for Career Development to support internships, yes, within the Charlotte market, but in markets around the country and around the world. We want you to be able to pursue those opportunities that make the most of what you are learning with us. Study abroad, 80% of our students go abroad during their time with us, the vast majority studying abroad during their junior years, but you have the opportunity to apply for additional funding for secondary international experiences. Sustainability and environmentalism are key to both our academic programming and into our student culture and life. We have a sustainable on-campus farm that supplies not just food to our campus, but also to members of the Davidson community and more broadly around us. Finally, we have a fantastic Center for Entrepreneurialism and Innovation called The Hub. The Hub gives students an incredible opportunity to access startup opportunity. So we offer funding, we offer access to people who have launched their own businesses, their own initiatives, and it's a great way to get a hands-on experience within that startup hub. We are a residential community. 95% of our students live on campus all 4 years. Housing is guaranteed. We are a place that heavily emphasizes community across the board. We have an honor code that allows students to self-schedule their final exam, so it creates a great deal of academic freedom, but it also creates a very strong community of trust. We have a student body that is incredibly active in social justice and political engagement. Happy to field questions about that in the chat. We are a Division I school when it comes to athletics. So you're going to hear from some places on this chat tonight that are much larger than Davidson is, but we get to play with State and with Wake Forest when it comes to athletics. Clubs, there are about 200 for our students to choose from. So fantastic opportunities to be involved in service, arts, academic pursuits, student leadership, social organizations. So there's a broad range to kind of tap into and invest and engage in your community. When it comes to financial aid at Davidson, we are a need-blind school for U.S. citizens and permanent residents, which means a family's ability to pay the cost of attendance does not factor into our decision on the application. We also meet 100% of what is called calculated financial need through grants and student employment. That's through an initiative that we have called the Davidson Trust. The vast majority of our resources do focus on financial aid, although we do have some scholarships which you must be nominated for or apply for. When it comes to applying to Davidson, we are a school that offers both early decision, so that is the binding contract option, and regular decision, so you're a little bit more of a free agent as you work to get to know us. You all have an assigned regional admission counselor based upon where you attend school. I am happy to help you tap into those people. I may in fact be your person. We are also a Questbridge and Posse partner school. So those are two college access organizations that we work closely with to bring students to campus who may not have otherwise had that on-ramp to us. We see that 28% of our students are students of color, 9% are international. We pull from all 50 states and 41 countries are represented on our campus as well. So in the event you're interested, definitely engage with me in the Q&A session. There are fantastic opportunities to engage with us virtually by visiting the visit section of our website. None of our programming is pre-recorded, so you're going to interact with live people at Davidson as you work to get to know us. With that, I am going to stop sharing this screen and turn it over to our next presenter.
Great, thank you. And up next, we have North Carolina State University.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. So my name is Courtney Sola. I am an assistant director here in North Carolina State University's Office of Admission. So thank you so much for joining us today. So a little bit about NC State. So we are located in Raleigh, North Carolina. For those of you that may be a bit unfamiliar with the state of North Carolina, I personally think it's the best state out there. I am a little bit biased, born, raised, absolutely love it. But something that I love about North Carolina is how geographically diverse we are. Of course, my colleagues can speak to that. But in North Carolina, we have the coast on one end, the mountains on the other end of our state, and then right in the middle, you'll find Raleigh, which is where we're located. Raleigh is the capital city of our state, also the second largest city within North Carolina. So our city really does provide a lot of different social, professional, and research opportunities for our students. And of course, as all those opportunities are present in our city, they are also present on our campus for our students to take advantage of here at NC State. Now, with NC State, we are the largest institution in North Carolina. So we currently serve over 36,000 students. About 24,000 of those students will be in our undergraduate population, the rest in our graduate level programs. As an institution, we really are known for our STEM-based programs. Those are some of our strongest programs on campus. But do know that we offer over 100 different majors for our students to take advantage of as they are pursuing their education at State. Now, when it comes to who we are at State, a really big part of our identity is student engagement and student preparation, both academic preparation and professional preparation. So when it comes to student success, we do offer a variety of different student organizations for our students to be involved with. Being such a large institution, we do offer over 700 different student organizations. So that's a great way for you to really find your niche and find your community as you are on our campus. When it comes to student support centers, not only do we offer our professional development center, but we also offer our Academic Success Center, which is home to our Writing Center, our tutorial services, and supplemental instruction labs for all of our students at State to make sure that, once again, you are going to be very successful in your academics while here. We offer a variety of different living and learning communities for our students. This is a great way, once again, to find your niche and find your community on your campus as you are living on our campus. And definitely one of the biggest parts of our identity is research and entrepreneurship. So NC State is a research-intensive institution. We are one of the 2 R1 institutions within the state of North Carolina, and we're also located in the Research Triangle Park, which is the most expansive research triangle park of its kind. So once again, undergraduate research is a really big part of our identity and something that really draws students to NC State. Of course, research looks different across every single discipline, but no matter what, we do incorporate some component of research into each student's curriculum. And our hope is that once you're exposed to research in the classroom, you're really motivated to pursue research opportunities outside of the classroom. And more times than not, we find that when students actually engage in research at NC State, it kind of ignites their own entrepreneurial spirit. So currently we have over 135 different startups and spinoffs actually just started by NC State student research. So that really does add to our student success. And then, of course, as I mentioned, we offer some pretty stellar academic programs. So we offer over 100 different majors that span 10 different academic colleges. Now, as I mentioned, yes, we are most notably known as a STEM institution, but I can promise you we're not STEM exclusive. So of course, we offer a great College of Engineering and a great College of Sciences, but we also offer a College of Agriculture and Life Sciences as a land-grant institution, a great College of Humanities and Social Sciences, our Poole College of Management, where you will find all of your traditional business degrees, a great College of Design, as well as the largest College of Textiles in the nation. So once again, not STEM exclusive. Now, the most important thing to know about applying to NC State is that you will be applying directly to your academic program of choice, and you will be evaluated for admissions purposes based on the major that you indicate on your application. All of our first-year students do have the option to list a first and second choice major on their application, and you could be reviewed for admission for both of those majors and admitted into either of those programs. Really quickly, when it comes to our application process, in order for your application to be reviewed by our Office of Admissions, it does need to be submitted through either the Common Application or Coalition application. We do need your $85 application fee. All of the essays that are included in either the Common App or Coalition application, your official high school transcripts, and your standardized test scores. We are test optional for fall 2021, but for subsequent years, we will once again be requiring standardized test scores as a part of our review process. And you can see our application deadlines listed on the screen. Last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about financial aid. So we do offer a variety of different financial aid options for our students, including our Park Scholarship Program, which is a full ride to NC State, PAC Assist, which is our larger institutional portal for scholarships. And as always, we encourage you to submit your FAFSA to determine your need-based aid. And we definitely hope that you choose to connect with us and stay in touch. You can definitely join us for any of our virtual visit opportunities. You can check those out on our campus visit website. And myself and my colleague, Ton, are happy to answer any questions about NC State in the chat. Thanks, guys.
Cool, thank you so much. And up next, we're gonna have University of North Carolina School of the Arts.
Okay, hello everybody. Let me get my screen hopefully sharing up here. I'm Bill Poole from University of North Carolina School of the Arts. We're a state-supported school, part of the UNC system. We're the smallest campus in the system. We only have about 1,340 students, and most of those are undergrads, approximately 900, but we do have a small grad school as well as a small residential high school program as well. I'm going to talk about some of the programs here, but we only have 5, very small. Students do an audition for either dance, drama, or music, or do a portfolio review for the School of Filmmaking, School of Design and Production. Our hashtag this year is Powering Creativity. We are a village of artists strictly. Everybody is there because they did this audition or the portfolio review to get accepted. And it's very collaborative. It's a unique village of artists. We call it an artist ecosystem. And we love our school. It's been there not nearly as long as some of the older, larger schools here. 1965 is when we opened. And we're in Winston-Salem, whose slogan is the city of arts and innovation. We had the first arts council in the country a long time ago. So I'll go through some slides here and show you some of the images of students. These are vocal performance majors in the School of Music doing an opera. You can see some of the great costumes that have been designed from students in design and production for costume design. This is a lighting designer or sound designer. Could be another person that's out of the shot there, but that's another one of the majors in design and production. And then here's a third one for some scenic painters in the paint shop. Design and production has about a dozen majors, and I've mentioned just 3 here. We also have stage management, stage automation, technical direction, stage properties, scene design, wig and makeup design, and actually I think there's a few more. It's about a dozen. In the School of Dance, you take classes in both majors. These are some contemporary dancers as well as some ballet majors, but you do overlap in one of those two. I mean, you do major in one of those two concentrations, but the curriculum overlaps, which is great. School of Drama, most of all the students are acting majors, but we do have a very few in directing. A couple of images there from different plays. These are drama students actually in the School of Filmmaking with the film crew and on a sound stage doing this movie production. So the drama students in taking some camera technique courses then get to fulfill that in reality and utilization of the work in front of the cinematographers in the School of Filmmaking. And film has animation majors as well. Film has 7 concentrations. So I mentioned a couple: screenwriting, directing, producing, cinematography, editing and sound effects, production design, and animation. You come in as a generalist, taking courses in all those areas, and then concentrate in one for at least 2 or 3 years. In music, this is a unique opportunity for the musicians because they get to perform not only on stage in their orchestral concerts, but also in the pit for an opera or a musical from School of Drama. And then this is showing an image on the scoring stage in the School of Filmmaking, doing a soundtrack recording for one of the movies, which is a really great opportunity, some diverse experience for musicians. And here's some of our orchestral, our students in the orchestra here in one of their performances on stage. The last image of, again, an opera from vocal performance majors in the School of Music. And the required documents we list, we have to have an official transcript by the end of the year, but we can't have an unofficial transcript while you're going through the application process until we find out whether you're going to be accepted or not. We need the courses that you're taking now in progress, which sometimes I see are not listed on the transcript in the fall when students apply, so make sure that's there. The SAT or ACT score is waived this year because of the COVID era that we're in. If you do have it, you can still submit it if you would like, but it's not required. 2 letters of recommendation, one from an academic teacher or guidance counselor, and one from your arts teacher. Or it could be a person in the community that you've done a production with too, as opposed to being a school teacher. And the artistic statement is kind of like a college essay for a conservatory. Students talking about their passions and dreams and desires about why they want a conservatory education. Why do they want to come to this school? What do they want to do with their art form? And how do they get interested in it? And so some ideas like that. And we've got examples of some students' artistic statements that are on our website as well. And then the resume is mentioned. I know I'm running out of time here. These are some liberal arts courses that our students take on our website, and I can help you with that later. And then if you want to take a picture of this for emailing us later for each of the liaisons in the 5 schools. Thank you so much for your time today and appreciate your interest.
Great. Thank you so much for your time, Bill. And last but not least, we have Wake Forest University.
All right, perfect. Thanks so much. Let me share my screen very quickly. All right, perfect. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. I really appreciate everyone joining us. This is going to be a very brief introduction into Wake Forest. I'm used to giving this presentation for 55 minutes, so 6 minutes is going to feel very brief, but hopefully if you like some of the things that you hear tonight, you'll reach out to us through some of our live sessions or information sessions on our websites. My name is Matthew Vera. I'm an assistant dean of admissions with Wake Forest University, and this is going to be a brief introduction into Wake. So Wake Forest is a small-ish liberal arts school in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We have 5,300 undergraduate students, so we're sort of in the medium-sized school, kind of in between some of the schools that you've heard from tonight. Our size is really important in allowing us to kind of pick and choose the best of both worlds from both, I think, kind of the small school experience and the much larger university experience as well. We are very much a liberal arts university, but we also offer research. We're a D1 athletic university, and so we kind of give you that small education experience while being a larger campus ourselves. You can see Winston-Salem is in kind of north central North Carolina. We're not too far from a couple of different airports. We have students from 49 states and over 50 countries, and so we are, definitely a North Carolina school. About 1/5 of our students come from North Carolina. We also represent most of the United States and many countries from around the world as well. And our undergraduate population is actually currently about 32% ethnically and racially diverse. I started at Wake as a freshman 7.5 years ago, and that number was at about 17%. And so that has risen by about 2 or 3% every year, because that has clearly been I think a focus of our office, a focus of the university as a whole to better represent our nation within our population as a student body as well. So as I said, Wake Forest is, I think, definitely a strongly liberal arts university. In fact, you're actually not allowed to declare your major at Wake until your 4th semester as a student. And so at Wake Forest, you apply to the university as a whole. You can't apply into a program because you won't be allowed to declare your major until your 4th semester as a student. And we do have almost 70 academic departments offering about 50 majors to choose from. The average class size at Wake is about 24 students, and your intro classes are going to be a little bit bigger, maybe like 30 to 35 students, but then your non-intro classes overall average out to about 17 to 19 students on average for your non-intro classes. And then on top of that, our student to faculty ratio is 11:1. And between this ratio and our class size, these two statistics should really tell you primarily that you're going to know your professors on campus at Wake. Those relationships with professors end up being, I think, one of the truly central details about our education experience. I don't think that it would be nearly as possible for students to be as engaged with their education if our professors weren't as available and enthusiastic about connecting with students as they are. And so I think the flip side of the coin for our education at Wake is, of course, that we are a liberal arts school, but we're also a research institution. And so about 60% of our students do research during their time at Wake. In fact, every single professor that's teaching undergraduate classes at Wake is required to be offering undergraduate research as well. And so this means that any professor that you have for a class at Wake is an opportunity as well to have conversations about getting engaged with research as a student. About half of our students do a full year of research with a professor before they graduate. And about 1/3 of our students end up graduating already published for their research as an undergraduate student. We like to say that our education is designed around the engaged liberal arts. And so you'll be, applying the liberal arts education that you're receiving into research and applications within the real world throughout your education. Of course, living on campus is super important to think about as well. And so it's really important to know that you are required to live on campus for your first 3 years as a student at Wake. Only seniors are allowed to live off campus. And so that means that the overwhelming majority of our student body is on campus in a typical year. About 60% of our seniors choose to live on campus at Wake as well. And so this means that 7/8 of our population are there within our campus. And so we have a very, I think, campus-centric community. Our campus is the heart of everything going on throughout the day-to-day life of students at Wake. You can see 3 of our first-year residence halls here in this image, Bostwick South and Angelou Hall. All of our freshman dorms are pretty traditional hall-style living environments. And so you're going to have those small communities of hallways your first day on campus. We really like this living arrangement for first-year students because it guarantees that 23 other students on your first day on campus through that hallway living. As I said, you are required to live on campus for 3 years. And so if you're not, super enthused about having a roommate living in that hallway style environment for 4 years, you should know that most of our upperclassmen dorms at Wake are a combination of apartment style and suite style residences. Most of our upperclassmen live in single bedrooms within apartments on the northern side of campus. Now, I would also say that, outside of just living on campus, it's important to think about student life as well. And so this, this slide really highlights the arts community, but I'll talk about kind of the student living on campus for a minute, just in general as well. There are actually almost 270 student organizations on campus at Wake right now, and those organizations really do just run the gamut across all the things that you might be looking to get involved with. We do have a really thriving arts community that is a really healthy part of our entire experience. As you can see here, there are a variety of these performing arts groups on campus, and we actually have a fine arts performance every 3 days on campus. So maybe not quite as constant as UNCSA might be offering, but it is a big part of our community as well. But on top of just the arts, our student organizations are going to be offering you opportunities to get involved with political organizations, religious groups, cultural and affinity groups, as well as academic groups, volunteer organizations, and recreational activities around campus as well. Now, I really like to highlight maybe a kind of unique part about Wake's experience. Our motto here is Pro Humanitate, and Pro Humanitate means for humanity. For humanity is our motto, and that means that this is a really big part of our experience overall, is just getting involved with our community, volunteerism, service, things like that. But I don't have a whole lot of time left, so it's important to know that we have 3 deadlines here. You can take a check on the screen right now. Jot these down if you'd like, but we have early decision and regular decision. We don't have early action. And if you want to be considered for merit-based aid, you need to apply by December 1st, although our deadline is January 1st. Thanks.
Great, thank you all so much. And it looks like we do have a couple minutes of extra time. So if you guys want to address any questions that you got in the chat verbally, or something that I like to kind of hear is, what advice do you guys have about college in general, not just like consistent to your institution?
I would say research, compare the schools, because there's so many different kinds of differences in, not just the majors or the size or the cost or the location, but, and then ask us questions later. I mean, after looking at the websites, and use the search box to investigate whatever keywords you're trying to search for, and try to get a sense of what, how to narrow it down, and then talking with your guidance counselor in the high schools as well.
My favorite piece of advice that I think is really relevant as application deadlines are coming around is apply early. Don't wait until the last minute, just because that's really stressful for you as a student, especially for institutions like NC State, where after you submit your application, then about 2 weeks later, you get access to your applicant portal, so you can see what you're actually missing from your completed application. So it's always good to apply a little bit earlier and not wait until the last minute, just so you can have all your ducks in a row, essentially, and make sure that when that deadline comes around, your application is complete and ready to be reviewed by the Office of Admissions.
I'll jump in and unmute myself. I think that you are inundated with facts and figures and mail and email. And those are tools that we are trying to get great information in front of you. But the most important thing you can do for yourself as you're researching schools is talk to students, talk to faculty members. Yes, utilize people like us to help you fact find and check information, but always go a step beyond for the places that you're really interested in, so you get a true sense of community. And then when it comes to your actual application, so many times I have students ask me, what should I be doing? What should I write about? My advice to you is trust your instincts, trust your value in this process. You want to find a school that is excited about you as you are, not a character you have invented for yourself to play. So embrace all of the strengths that you bring to the table. Be yourself. Don't worry about trying to make us happy. Yes, meet deadlines, fill things out in their entirety, but be yourself, and you stand a much better shot at finding a really good fit, because you want a school that wants you for you, and you have a lot to offer.
Absolutely. I'll just jump in and really echo that. One of my favorite words going along with what Courtney's saying here is authenticity. I really find that for us, there's nothing that stands out more to us when we're reading an application than a student that is just really clearly trying to be something or really trying to present a certain way. And then on the other side of things, it's really also very clear when a student is writing from a place of passion and is, expressing what they most care about within their application. And that really just comes down to authenticity. And that is just, I think, one of the most important things within this process. But also say, I guess in terms of advice during this COVID time, don't assume that because, COVID is breaking up our visit experiences or closing our campuses or whatever it might be, that we're not available. Don't assume that you can't do the things that you were planning on doing. Obviously, you might not be able to visit campus, or it might not be possible to do the big information session in the auditorium. But we're doing live online sessions for the first time in our history as a university. I know lots of other universities are doing really innovative new things to make their campuses accessible to you. And so it might not be the image that you had in mind for learning about these schools or pursuing this process, but do the research. Don't give up before you've started, because there are, I think, really cool new ways to get involved and come to learn about some of our universities. And we're doing everything we can to replicate our visit experience as much as we can digitally and to be present and available. Our Dean of Admissions is doing a Dean's Corner every week where we have a live session with the Dean of Admissions once a week. I know that never would have happened a year ago. And so these are really cool opportunities as well. So don't miss them just because of the frustration of being, socially distant and closed in our homes more often.
I would echo what all my colleagues said in terms of researching and, taking advantage of talking to staff and faculty and students. And really the last thing I would add, I like to encourage students to do is, beyond talking to all of us and getting facts like these numbers and percentages and locations and those things about our colleges, I always encourage students to look at kind of the bigger picture things too. Like what is the college's mission statement and vision statement? What are they committing themselves to? And do those align with your values? Because I think all of us can tell you that you're going to end up being really happy at probably 100 colleges. So it's not about finding the perfect one, but I think making sure those match and fit pieces are there for those specific items, but then also finding a college that kind of aligns with you and your values big picture as well. That's my other piece of advice for you guys.
Great. Thank you all so much. That was all good advice. And I know we only have 8 minutes, but another fun question I like to ask is, at your school, are there any traditions that you do? Like, I went to Drake University, and at the first snowfall of the year, we would take lunch trays and slide down this hill. So I was just wondering if you guys in North Carolina had anything like that.
I can start with NC State. So one of my favorite traditions is after a big Wolfpack win. So with athletics, we are Division I. We are in the ACC, so athletics are alive and well on our campus. But after a big Wolfpack win, especially a big upset win, like last year when we beat Duke, all of our students rushed to the bell tower and we light up the bell tower in red. And the bell tower is a really big monument on our campus, and such a great moment of community and bringing our campus together and really sharing that Wolfpack spirit. And sometimes our basketball or football team will also make an appearance, which is pretty cool. But that's definitely hands down one of my favorite NC State traditions.
Yeah, I have to jump right in and follow up with another big ACC victory tradition. So Wake is another member of the ACC, so we also have those big athletics. And I think, in terms of size, we are often, I think, the strongest. We're heavily outnumbered by pretty much all of our opponents in the ACC. And so some of our victories feel really hard fought sometimes. And when we have a big win, one of our favorite traditions as a campus is a little bit silly, a little bit goofy, but we actually, we call it rolling the quad. We actually TP our upper quad when we have those big victories as a university. People actually hoard extra toilet paper in their dorm rooms in case of these victories. And so when we do have those moments where we get to celebrate as a university, one of the ways that we do so is by converging on our upper quad and throwing toilet paper into the trees. It's all tree-free, very responsible toilet paper. It dissolves in the rain, so it's not like an ecological disaster. Our sustainability office has signed off on our usage of tree-free toilet paper, but it is a great way to celebrate as a campus.
So at Davidson, two, I will try to highlight really briefly, and I'm going to stay away from athletics, although we do get really excited when we get to play Duke and UNC Chapel Hill in basketball and either give them a run for their money or have occasionally eked out a win. So that's pretty exciting. But I mentioned our honor code. Every school here has a fantastic honor code. You actually, as a Davidson student, participate in an official signing ceremony the night before classes begin. Students stand up one by one, commit to living by this code for 4 years. That code is framed and hung in our main academic building, and students kind of use that as a really nice touch point to start off their Davidson careers. Also within that first few weeks of classes, we have something called the freshman cake race. It was once upon a time used by our track coaches to maybe identify some unsuspecting fast people who may be on our campus that they could tap to run their events. But what the cake race is, students can sign up to run about 2 miles around campus. And as you finish, you get to choose a cake purchased or baked by a member of the Davidson community. And the competition to be the first cake chosen is actually stronger than the competition to win the race, which, no surprise, is won by members of our track and cross country team. We don't use it as a recruitment tool anymore. But our men's tennis coach has been the first cake chosen for the last 4 years. So he has definitely identified a new talent and a second career for himself when his coaching days are in the rear view.
I'll stay away from athletics too, because we have absolutely no organized sports teams at all. But a couple of things that the students really do love to do is to get donations from a performance-based talent show and give it to a charity, a different charity every year, and it's called the Love Project. And the other thing that they love to do too is the day before exams, or a couple of days, maybe the weekend before exams start, they have the Beaux-Arts costume ball and party. So everybody dresses up, and it's a wonderful way to kind of end the year at School of the Arts.
I kind of already hinted at one of my favorite traditions at Catawba. It's our artist development program. It's a fully packed, fully student-run concert every Friday night. And there's typically 3 headliners and 1 or 2 openers. And I just love that the entire student body and community rallies around the performers and watches them, and that it's packed. I think one other tradition that's really popular, and I'm a little bit new to Catawba, so I haven't gotten to witness it yet, but one that I think will be a favorite of mine is when the students are graduating, the faculty and staff line up and surround them on the sidewalks while they proceed to the auditorium, which is where we hold our graduation, and they're holding candles. And I think the idea ties back to our mission, I believe. So the students find a faculty member or a staff member that, impacted them deeply in their college career, and then they go and stop and light their candle that the staff member is holding. So very sentimental and special at Catawba.
Thank you guys so much. It was so fun to hear about your advice and your traditions. And also thank you, students, for joining us. When you close the window, there's going to be a quick 4-question survey, and we appreciate any feedback you might have. Sign up for more sessions. There are many more available, and a recording of this session will be available in about a week at the same website where you registered. So thank you, panelists and students, and have a great rest of your night.